is now 5 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I want to make sure that our people online can hear me. Miss Gordon, can you hear me? Miss Gordon? Okay.
She's muted.
Mr. Smith, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Smith can hear you.
Okay, got Mr. Smith. And Pastor Gordon, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Colonel. Loud and clear.
Okay. All right. We have a quorum. The Board of Education of the Hilton Head is going to be held at the Hilton Head Island Middle School Media Center at 55 Wilborn Road, Hilton Head Island. On February 4th, 2025, we're going to be starting with the executive session in a moment. The public session will begin at 6 p.m. This is hybrid video conferencing, and the meeting will be broadcast by the county channel. Is the county channel on? Ms. Cushenberry? Is county channel on? Thank you. Requests for public comments will be accepted between 5 and 5:30 p.m. by sending an email with your name and phone number and topic to robin.cushenberry@beaufort.k12.sc.us. You will receive a phone call during public comments where you'll be able to speak and address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes on issues within the board's domain. The forum will be limited to 30 minutes. If you are in person, you may address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes on issues within the board's domain. Each speaker must fill out a public comment card. Please see the board clerk for a card. Requests for second public comments will be accepted between 7 and 7:30 p.m. in the same manner as above. The second public comments will take place prior to adjournment and no later than 9 p.m. The second forum will be limited to 15 minutes. I now would like a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
We need to read all the.
Yes, sir. We'll be
You got to read right. You're going to read what we're going in?
Yeah, you called on him. You looked right at me and called on him, so ball's in his court now. You got to read the whole, yeah.
So you're reading it?
Call to order.
No, sir, let me pull up my diligent here. The section that is in executive.
Executive session.
For reasons of, and you've got to cite the statute.
There it is.
Do you want me to do it?
Call to order executive session. The discussion of an easement agreement for a construction project covered by the attorney-client privilege pursuant to SC Code and Section 30-4-70A2, receipt of legal advice relating to a pending claim covered by attorney-client privilege pursuant to SC Code and Section 30-4-70A2, employment matter RE personnel ratification report pursuant to SC Code and Section 30-4-70A1, an adult education monthly report pursuant to SC Code and Section 30-4-40A4.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Who will be advising us in the legal matters?
Partridge.
Ms. Cartilage will be giving the,
Sarah Robertson. And Miss Sarah Robertson.
and Ms., okay, did you get that, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right, thank you. With no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Online?
Gordon, aye.
Smith, aye.
Pastor Gordon, aye.
Ms. Hay, there's an aye? All right. Motion carries unanimously. We'll now go into executive session.
I want to make a statement.
It's now 6 o'clock. We call the meeting back to order. Madam Secretary, do we have any motions coming out of executive session?
Yes, Colonel, we have two motions coming out of executive committee. First, I move that the Board of Education approve the superintendent's recommendations for employment listed on the January 1st, 2025 through January 31st, 2025 personnel ratification report.
Have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Online?
Aye. Gordon. Pastor Gordon.
I heard Pastor Gordon.
Oh, he's muted.
Ms. Gordon, how do you vote?
Yes, aye.
Aye, all right. Mr. Smith?
I'll abstain.
Abstain, all right. Motion carries.
Second motion coming out of executive session, I move that the Board of Education approve the superintendent's recommendation for the monthly adult education report for February 4th, 2025.
You have a second? Ms. Hayes, seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain?
Smith will abstain.
Mr. Smith will
I will
abstain.
abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have Ms. Gordon and Pastor Gordon?
Aye.
Aye.
Got it.
Aye.
Motion carries 10-0-1.
That concludes action coming out of executive session.
Right? Next item is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Nay, seconded by Mr. Dallas. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pastor Gordon.
Got it.
Aye, C. Gordon.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the moment of silence.
Just stay.
with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We have two students that have passed away in the last couple of weeks. Adam Messinger, a fourth grader at River Ridge Academy. Arohai Patel, a 6-year-old student at Mossy Oaks Elementary School. Please keep them in your thoughts.
And as well as Carolyn Smalls, who was a teacher at St. Helena Elementary School as well.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please be seated. Has the media been notified? Media has been notified. Points of celebration, Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Colonel Guyer. We begin this evening in points of celebration regarding character education for November. We're also celebrating the Student of the Month. For the month of November, character traits for November were respect and gratitude. And respect is defined as showing high regard for authority, other people, self, and country. Gratitude is defined as showing that you are thankful for what others have done for you. November Student of the Month for Southern Beaufort County is Mia McDavid, kindergartner at MC Riley Elementary, and here to introduce Mia is Principal Melissa Holland.
Oh, look at this. What a cutie.
Good evening. Oops. Good evening, Dr. Rodriguez, Chairman Guyer and board members, thank you for having Mia here tonight. I'd like to read what her teacher has wrote about her back in November, and we're so happy to celebrate with her today. Her teacher said that respect and gratitude are essential characteristics that should be taught at an early age and practiced throughout one's life. Mia McDavid is a star when it comes to showing both of these characteristics at Michael C. Riley. Respect is an important value that kindergartners show through both actions and behaviors. Mia shows respect to the teachers and students around her each day, and she actively listens when the teacher is talking to her by using her eyes, body, and heart. This shows the speaker that she not only is listening because she's supposed to, but also because she wants to. Mia also shows respect when answering questions given by an adult by responding always with no or yes ma'am. She does this unprompted when I speak with her and she's in the lunch line or when we have visitors in the classroom. She also shows respect when she's with her friends on the playground or in the classroom. She practices habit number 4, think win-win, by making sure that everyone is participating who wants to be involved and by making sure everyone agrees on games that are played. Mia's amazing character traits do not end with respect. She also knows to show gratitude to those people around her. In kindergarten, gratitude is shown by using kind gestures and kind words to those around you. She does this by her manners in all situations. When a friend who sits near her on the carpet answers a question correctly, Mia is the first one to show gratitude by giving them a high five or to show that she's proud of them. She also shows gratitude by helping others whenever she gets the chance. Mia consistently shows her willingness to assist by helping to clean up spills, retrieving items left around the room, and supporting her friends in daily activities. The other day, a friend was having trouble getting into iReady, and Mia leaned right over and showed them what they were doing wrong. She does this without looking for a prize or any type of recognition, which shows just how much she loves to help others. Mia is a star pupil when it comes to showing respect and gratitude at Michael C. Riley, and we're happy to have her school counselor here today, also Ms. Cockrell, to celebrate. And her family's here too.
Parents here.
What a wonderful thing.
Oh, man, look at that.
Tonight, we're also celebrating our Students of the Month for the month of December, and December's character trait was compassion. Compassion is defined as a feeling of wanting to help someone who is sick, hungry, in trouble, etc. And December's Student of the Month for Northern Beaufort County is Anaya Middleton, a student at Joseph Shanklin Elementary School. Here to tell us more is Anaya's principal, Ms. Liz Rivera.
Oh, man.
Good evening, Chair, board members, and everyone in the audience. I am so excited to be here tonight. Made a little drive over all the way from Shanklin to honor one of our fabulous Shanklin Sand Dollars. I've known Anaya Middleton since she was in pre-K, and she has always been a wonderful student. For compassion, which is what her classmates nominated her for, her classmates said that she is always nice, proactive, looking to do the right thing. She's respectful, but most of all, they shared several stories of when they were sad or having a bad day, and Anaya does not like to see anybody sad. She will come over, do her best to help them, and then if she can't help them, she'll notify an adult to get them further help. She wants all of our Shanklin Sand Dollars to be happy while they're at school. One of the other things about Anaya is that she has a very calming personality at school. She will calm everyone down, and I guarantee you, if you stop by and visit Joseph Shanklin Elementary School, you are not going to see Anaya without a smile on her face. With us tonight is Miss Prelo, her second grade teacher, and then we also have Anaya's family here to celebrate as well.
For Southern Beaufort County, the December Student of the Month is Camila Elizabeth Cerda Cardenas, a fifth grade student at Hilton Head Island School for the Creative Arts. And here to tell us more about Camila is Principal Nikki Lucas.
Good evening, board members. This is Camila, and she is a fifth grade student at Hilton Head School for the Creative Arts. I'd like to read for you what her teacher, Dr. Tamika Ford, shared about Camila when she was nominated and won this award. Dr. Ford says, "I nominate Camila Cardenas. She illustrates compassion for her classmates and for me as her teacher. When a classmate lost a loved one, Camila showed compassion by respecting the family's privacy as they mourned by not sharing private information with others, visiting the student's home to offer support, updating her on school assignments, and visiting the counselor with her classmate to offer additional emotional support. Furthermore, Camila has gone out of her way to help her grieving classmate stay busy and realize that she is not alone by joining her to support her teacher's basketball game one evening. Camila is very empathetic and is able to put herself in others' shoes in various situations. There is no other student that shows as much compassion as Camila does through her comforting words and comforting actions." Her parents and her family are here this evening. We're very proud of her. There is probably no other character trait that's more important than compassion and being a good friend. So thank you for being you.
The next item, as we shift into points of celebration around athletics, Bluffton High School boys and girls cross-country state champions. During this past school year, both the boys and girls track teams, cross-country teams at Bluffton High School were crowned the 2024 Class 4A state champions. Here to tell us more about this accomplishment is head coach Dana House. And if both boys and girls could come up.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez and the board members. We appreciate you celebrating this moment with our teams, both boys and girls. It was a wonderful season with them. We talked about from the start last May what we could do, and we worked on doing that thing. all the way up until the last moment at the state meet, and even after the race had ended, we still weren't sure. But these boys and girls pulled through, and I kept me more proud of them. Congratulations.
Board, I would also just like to take a quick moment while we have them here as they're getting organized for their picture. We've also learned that two of our coaches have won some significant honors this year. Ms. Dana House was named the High School League Cross Country Head Coach of the Year. We also got a letter this past week that U.S. Track and Field Cross Country Coaches Association has named Dana House the South Carolina Boys Cross Country Coach of the Year, and Mr. Woody Melton was also named South Carolina Track and Cross Country Coaches Association Assistant Coach of the Year. So I want to make sure we honor and recognize their leadership as well.
And if Coach Cave, our district athletic director, can stay up here, we're going to celebrate another state championship here. And so the May River High School Girls Golf State Champions. Here with us tonight is a four-time state championship girls golf team from May River High School. And here to introduce us to the team and tell us about the championship is Principal Karan Webb.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce our May River Girls Golf Team. As Dr. Rodriguez has stated, this team has won back-to-back state championships for the 4A class division. This year, this team had a record 129 wins and 7 losses. The girls won the Lady Bingo Invitational, the Charleston Classic, the Tournament of Champions at True Blue, and the Greenwood Invitational. The girls have won 4 of the last 5 state championships. Consisting of this team, we have Miss Ava Cunningham, Miss Claire Green, Miss E.C. Harwell, Miss Addison Mitchell, Miss Robin A. Trower, Miss Haley Zhao, and Coach Nathan Campbell.
Dr. Rodriguez, could you ask them, tell us their handicaps?
I'm a +2 currently.
How about the rest of you?
I'm a 3.
Come on. Come on.
Those girls both average in the high 70s. Those two.
Congratulations.
You don't want to know my handicap, right? I'm going to ask Coach Cave to come forward to the podium and introduce the National Wrestling Hall of Fame for Lifetime of Service recipient.
It is indeed an honor to recognize this national award that has been received by Coach George Dixon. Coach Dixon over the summer, as a wrestling coach here at H.E. McCracken, was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame for a lifetime of service. The Lifetime of Service Award is given in recognition of years of dedication to the development of leadership and citizenship in the youth through the sport of wrestling. At this time, I'm going to allow Coach Dixon to come and kind of share a little bit of insight about this award. Coach Dixon.
The recognition is wonderful for me as a lifetime of service. I had 10 years as a high school coach across the street at Hilton Head High, and I've been a referee for high school and college for the last 25 years. During that 25-year span, I've also worked at McCracken Middle, working with our teams there. So it's definitely a love of mine. It's given me a lot, and I've worked to give back to our community and to the kids in our community. The sport develops discipline and lifetime skills that are very important to our youth, and I've been blessed to have the opportunity to give back. And I appreciate the board for recognizing me, for Dr. Cave, and I thank you. You guys have a great night. I appreciate it.
That's a big deal. The last item on the agenda for this section of points of celebration is this week is National School Counseling Week, sponsored by the American School Counselors Association. To highlight the importance of our school counselors and their work, I will read the following proclamation into the record. Whereas school counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential, and whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development, and whereas school counselors help families focus on ways to further the academic, career, and social emotional development of their children, and whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves, and whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society. And finally, whereas comprehensive school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in school. Therefore, the chair of this district do hereby proclaim February 3 through 7, 2025 as National School Counseling Week. Our next item is first public comments. Our first public comment is Mr. Miller, and his topic is points of celebration.
Thank you, board, and I welcome all the new members of the board and the new officers. As a point of celebration, I appreciate everything. It's amazing to see what's going on. I would just come and suggest that this past weekend, two items occurred and that are prevalent and one would definitely, I think, qualify as a point of in the future, and that is the school district. The finals aren't out. They won't be announced for sure, but I'm anticipating there will be twice as many students in band qualifying for regional. Those auditions were this past week, and all preliminary indication is that they will we'll have more than twice we've had before, and I would suggest that they might be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item is the chair's report. The only thing I have on the chair's report is to announce, to remind the body that give Ms. Cushenberry the Saturdays that you have free for scheduling a retreat between now and the next few months. Next item on the report, next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report, student achievement, goal number 1. Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. One of the things we have to discuss now that Snowmageddon has passed us is makeup and makeup days. So Dr. Stratos is coming forth to talk about that.
Good evening, Chairman Guyer and board members. Your handouts actually has an updated proposal, and I believe as well you have a motion, but I do want to share some background information first. As per South Carolina's Code 1976, Section 59, 1-425, the school local board has the authority to waive up to 3 academic days beyond the emergency days already used within an academic calendar. The calendar shared this evening with you provides an option for modifying the current 24-25 academic calendar by making May 30th, 2025 a makeup day for the closure we had on January 24th of this year due to inclemental weather. The board also has the option of waiving this makeup day as referenced by the Section 59 1-425 regulation of the South Carolina Code. I have provided you with wording, and at this point, I will leave it up for you for discussion in order to go forward, board members. So if I could walk you through the calendar. From this position, I do apologize, it's a little awkward, so if we look...
May I add some additional context? School districts in South Carolina have 5 virtual days that they are allowed to, e-learning days that they are allowed to use. Due to 2 storms, one on the very first 2 days of school and another one later on during the first semester that utilized a couple of days of school time. We utilized 4 at that time, and we had to do the 2 makeup days that existed just prior to Christmas break, and then just after Christmas break was the second day. Then you have the snowstorm, and we had a day off. We had 1 day left of virtual learning, which we used. Then the next day was a day out of school. That day is covered by the March 17th makeup day that the school district has already on the calendar. Friday is the next day and the day in question for you to determine whether you want to waive that day or whether you want to implement the makeup day that she mentioned at the end in May. Okay, if that makes sense. We're talking about 1 day because March 17th is a makeup day and we are utilizing that one. And you have to exhaust all your virtual days, all your makeup days before you get to that juncture of adding an additional day or waiving a day.
Questions and comments by board members? Dallas?
Yes, in looking at the graduation for high schools on May 30th at Battery Creek, how is that affected by the May 30th decision that we'll propose now?
Yeah. So the time for that graduation is at 7 p.m., sir. So it would still give the school opportunity, should that be a work day, as we have other graduations listed during the week. It gives the school opportunity to go through dismissal, go directly and start setting up. And normally the setup happens in advance. We have different sets of staging for north and south of the Broad in order to accommodate our graduation staging with proper timing. Hence, we scatter north of the Broad then south of the Broad timing as we calendar graduation so we could accommodate our maintenance crew.
Thank you.
The questions, comments?
No, Mr. Smith. I was just pointing.
Smith.
So just to understand this, that, so that there's not a total, there's not 8 days that we get, is only 5 from the state. Is that must be incorrect?
You have 5 e-learning days.
Right.
Then you have 3 calendar makeup days.
Right.
Right. So we've utilized the 5 days. We've utilized 2 of the calendar makeup days. We have 2 days to worry about. One of them is taken care of because March 17th is the 3rd makeup day. So the only thing we have to worry about is that Friday that was off, and we have to make a determination around that Friday whether the board wishes to waive that day or whether the board wishes to utilize, to implement an additional makeup day there.
Right, and I have that, so in terms of e-learning, there's e-learning, is there something else besides e-learning?
No, sir. Actually, we're very lucky here in Beaufort County because we qualify for that application for e-learning, as we have that 1-to-1 ratio of student to device.
Right.
So those are the 5 days, as Dr. Rodriguez had made reference to. Then the next 3 days are required by state legislation for the development of our academic calendar. We must have 3 makeup days on the calendar as well, so that gives the 8 days. And then the state allows the board up to 3 days to waive for a total of 11.
Right, and I understand that, but I had people question me about the hybrid. So just for the community and for people to understand. So there's not really such thing as a hybrid day. So there's only e-learning day or no days. Is that what I'm understanding? Because I want to get that clear because I've been asked that question a whole lot. So that's where I'm going with that. If y'all want to know.
Yes. So no, we don't have the language of a hybrid day for utilization. Once we decide to have an early release,
right,
and if you want to go from an early release to the computer to use our devices, we would then burn that as an e-learning day, so you cannot. That's a very good question, Mr. Smith. So in other words, we can't mix an e-learning and an early release day together. We would lose that full e-learning day versus the superintendent has the purview for a late start or an early release subject to weather emergencies, et cetera, et cetera. That does fall under the right of the superintendent, sir.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I had a lot of people asking me, well, are y'all using e-learning days or are y'all using hybrid days, and what's the difference, and how come the state is not allowing y'all to use e-learning days when COVID was happening? We used those e-learning days, which is known as virtual learning, and so understanding it, virtual learning and e-learning is one of the same. Is that correct?
The answer to that is yes, sir.
Thank you. Just great. Appreciate the clarification, because the community asks a lot of questions, and I just want to make sure that we've got it together and I have my answers together when I ask my answers back. Thank you.
Mr. Nay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pardon me, I play drums and I'm a Knuckle Dragon Marine. So just to confirm, we have utilized all of our e-learning days, and after March 17th, we will have used all of our makeup days.
Correct.
Then why is this even a discussion? Because it seems like, is the last day of school even going to have any instruction? No. So, I mean, we might as well just waive it anyways. I mean, does anybody else see that the way I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion?
Yes, Colonel, we have a motion. I move, let's see, hold on, make sure the right one. I move that the Beaufort County Board of Education, as per South Carolina Code 1976, as amended, Section 59-1-425, waive having a makeup day for the missed academic day, January 24th, 2025, due to inclement weather.
Second? Second. Ms. Hay? Okay, Ms. Hay got you first, so Ms. Hay has the second. Any more discussion?
Not just that, we just hope that this weather don't come in February. So, now we have the same conversation again. That's what we hope. Thank you, God.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye. Pastor Gordon. Aye. Chloe Gordon.
We have passed unanimous. Thank you. Dr. Rodriguez, your next item?
Thank you, sir. The next item is an update to Administrative Regulation IS 38.1. This is an item that we discussed at the work session, and the board made a determination on how to proceed regarding challenged items. And so what we needed to then is adjust the AR and then come back to you and inform you about the adjustment to the AR just to stay in procedure for procedural matters. And so Dr. Stratos is here.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, and once again, Chairman Guyer, I appreciate it, and board members. In your package, you should have a quick executive summary for your reference, the red line version of the administrative regulation, as well as the clean administrative regulation. The update to the administrative regulation IS 38.1 is a result of the January 31st, 2025 work session. At that time, the Beaufort County School District Board of Education, under Regulation 43-170, chose to have a committee consisting of teacher, school, librarian, administrator, parent, community member, district administrator or coordinator, and SIC chair. And if we recall, that was option 1 that we had discussed last Friday. Review a book title brought forward by a complainant who resides within Beaufort County and who is either a parent or guardian of a student within our school system. And I pause with that language because you're going to hear that within the administrative regulation. So what I will do is walk you through the administrative regulation quickly so you can be familiar with the updates that are aligned to the presentation work we did last Friday. If you look at page 1 of 5, Roman numeral 4, rights to challenge, and this also aligns with your executive summary. This is the reference that the complainant must be a parent or legal guardian, as I've shared with you. They must have a student who is enrolled within BCSD, or Beaufort County School District schools. And the complainant may put in 5 titles per month. So a listing of more than 5 per month is not permissible as per the legislation. The appeals of a local board decision regarding materials may be made to the school board. So that means once the committee, as we have selected option 1 as a board, if you take a recommendation that the committee comes forward to say a book remains and the complainant is not satisfied, that complainant may file to the State Board of Education, who makes a finite decision which has a statewide enactment. If you look at Roman numeral 4 remaining there to alpha B, we've updated the language that it states the South Carolina Instructional Materials Uniform Parent Complaint Form. On page 2, Roman numeral 5, we reference school site reconsideration procedure. Again, we've updated the language. And if you recall from Friday, we put great emphasis that it's a 90-day process from point of complaint. I'd like to draw your attention to alpha B. Citing once again the parent's right and the updating of the language of the complaint form, and the specific within the complaint form as to what the items are with the title of the book. We've updated the language as well on this page at alpha C regarding the board's review of information. And you'll see once again on your next page, page 3, Roman numeral 6, the language regarding the South Carolina Instructional Materials Uniform complaint form. I want to pause to let you know that that is a form that is used for every school district within the state. That's why the language has been updated, board members. Down at the bottom, Roman numeral 8 speaks to the 90-day process for you. And that continues in detail to the top of page 4, alpha, B, and C. And then there is mention of the appeals process. So with that, should the complainant not be happy, I bring forward a complaint. We go first to the school site out of good faith. I'm not satisfied at the school site, as we showed you on that roadmap on Friday. Then it will go to the board members. We recognize that that goes into a full committee. Committee reviews material, brings a recommendation to you. Should you choose to keep the title on the bookshelves, and I'm still not happy as a complainant, I have the right to use the form to go to the state. And there's a 30-day window, as well as a notice of appeal to the state. I want to just, again, recognize that the state's decision is finite. Again, it is remains or it's not within any school within the state of South Carolina. We've updated the citation and the reference to the regulations on this as well, board members. All forms will be updated immediately, and actually the state forms have been on the state and our school district site. I wanted to bring this to your attention so you know the process that we utilize, and we were dependent on the work session outcome. So thank you for this opportunity.
Board questions or comments? Mr. Ney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I noticed when I was doing the pre-read that there was nothing about if somebody finds a book within our library that has been removed by the state board, what is the process for removing? Is that going to be a different AR, or do we need to put it in this language?
So the process for that, actually, we could give an example of that for right now. We have to remove immediately. We've not put that into the AR because that's an operational practice. So the title will be removed and put into a secure place until we're able to follow to see how we will then be able to follow in state guidelines. The state guidelines, Mr. Ney, have not gone to those details for the proper removal, so we're putting into place the language of putting materials into a secured place until we get deeper guidance from the state as well.
Dr. Stratos, when you say removal, you're talking about how you dispose of it after they are removed.
Yes, so the titles will be removed from the shelving. They will be collected by our coordinator for library services, which I've had the opportunity to bring forward that gentleman, Mr. Copeland, to you. And he will collect the material, and there's a secured area that we have locked for the materials are going to. We're seeking additional guidance from the state to what do you do next, right? Because we don't want to be in a position that we distribute materials as well.
I see puzzled looks. Well, when the books are removed by the State Board of Ed, when they come out, right, then those materials, something has to happen with them. They have to go somewhere. What's the process that the state wants school districts to utilize once the State Board of Ed has removed? And that's what she's saying has to be sorted out.
So what you're saying is that we're waiting on more definitive direction from the state until to produce our own AR or policy.
They are removed.
Correct.
Right. But then what happens next, that is what she's talking about.
Which is what we're waiting on the state to confirm or to.
Right.
That's affirmative, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ms. Boatright?
Thank you, Chairman. One question I have, it says that if someone, let's say, challenges a book, and the board decides to remove the book, for example, what it says here is that the complainant may appeal the decision of the board. But if I, as a parent, disagree with the board's decision, but I am not the complainant, am I without any recourse?
Your opportunity would be to speak at the board itself during our public comment because the legislation doesn't put the voice, and with the greatest respect, Mrs. Boatwright, as a second party. There's no language to that within the legislation.
So I could not appeal to the state, the board's decision?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then, do you mind if I have another question? I will say, to Mr. Nay's point, once the decision's made by the state, we're going to pull the books out of the school and put them in an undesignated location, right, until the state comes up. But they are still showing up in the Destiny.
Destiny.
And is that just because it's antiquated software, or because some schools show them as unavailable, some show them as still available?
If I could speak to that effectively, let's say, for example, today, there was a state board meeting. That will be addressed tomorrow, because we're also having a principal meeting. So we want to bring that information directly to the principals for them to recognize that Destiny will be deleted for books that have gone to the state, and picking up and where that would be housed. So I wanted to have that opportunity to speak directly to the principals, ma'am.
The Sarah Mass, for example, came out, was one of the 7 books that were banned last month, and there are still several of them showing up in Discovery, or Destiny, or...
That should have been updated, and I will check with Mr. Copeland as well as the school that has that identified, because that should have been taken out of Destiny, because I know the books were picked up.
That's what I'm wondering, because
Yes, ma'am.
that system looks pretty... Mark? Where's Mark?
Mark?
That system looks pretty antiquated, so I was wondering if maybe that was causing some confusion, that people, they were not physically located in the library anymore, but they were still showing up as available in our system. So maybe something the technology department can take a look at.
Yes, ma'am, I will have that checked.
Other questions, comments, sir?
This doesn't require any action from the board, it's information.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to board business action. A Health Advisory Committee update.
Good evening, board members.
Back again.
There's always an opportunity. Again, Chairman Guyer, thank you, and board members. Health Advisory is under regulation of South Carolina Health Education Act, 32-30, Alpha B. It is the Health Advisory Committee. They will be, from this point forward, you'll hear me referring to them more as the HAC. The HAC operates under the authority and guidance of Beaufort County School Board of Education, hence the board. With this understanding, the HAC provides recommendations to the board on the following items: reproductive health education, family and life education, and pregnancy education. The board thereby conducts the final decision of recommendations that are brought forward from the HAC. Under this regulation, the HAC also advises the board at assisting at the selection of components and curriculum materials. Before I go forward with regard to the HAC recommendations, because you do have a motion and an executive summary, I want to pause to bring forward the names of some people who have been working. We have our chair for the Health Advisory, Ms. Amy Pryor, who is a teacher of health here at Hilton Head Middle School. And we also have Ms. Emily Gray, who is our coordinator for physical education and health, who has been working with our HAC. And I would be remiss not to say thank you to the HAC members, because we have met approximately 12 to 16 times. They have taken work home. They have learned the health standards. They have worked with rubrics to identify, and I must say thank you to the whole team who has done the work. This evening, there's a motion regarding their recommendation. Items that the HAC has identified to be contrary to the current House bill, which took effect in May 2024, are as follows, and this is on your executive summary. Health textbook hard copy, Module 3, Lesson 1, as well as Module 7, Lesson 3. These modules make mention of marginalized groups, who may experience, as the text shares, bullying in schools. It is the language of the groups that we are not allowed to make reference because they support alternate lifestyles as per the May 2024 regulation. The next item it brings forward is the middle school online textbook. And I will give you the reason why for that as I go through this, if you may give me a few minutes. As well as the middle school health supplemental material. Another item that is on your executive summary is the high school state health textbook hard copy. Those are 2 lessons. One is Module 6, Lesson 1. The second is Module 6, Lesson 2. Again, language is not aligned with the May 2024 legislation. The final recommendation is the online textbook, and I need to give you the why. Originally, regulation was written in 1988. The updated act was written in May 2024. Within that window, we have a middle school hard copy and hard copy for high school that were adopted by the state as well as Beaufort County in 2022. The online and supplemental material came out in 2023. 2024, a little more conservative legislation was written. So the recommendation not to use the online text is where a majority of the items not aligned with the current legislation exists, as well as with the supplemental material. Deep review by the HAC identified the hard copy textbook to be the most aligned with current legislation. So does that give some clarity to the why? Publishers were trying to be contemporized, updating, but our legislation is actually contradictory to what the publishers were putting forward. So they are going to go through their cycle to be aligned with legislation. But we're not in an adoption cycle. Our adoption cycles are every 5 years. We are overdue. It is about 8 years since physical education and health has been on a cycle at the state. I know it's a lot of information, but I think that timeline is the most important for you to understand, that the materials we have that are hard copy actually are most aligned with the current legislation that we have in South Carolina. Any questions?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm with you, Colonel Geyer. Many meetings and discussion.
Questions from the board? Comments, Mr. Dallas?
No one else. Colonel Guy and the board and the people in attendance, I have watched many of these health advisory committees, and the granularity with which the members approach these challenges, very complex difference in timelines of approval, changes in the approving legislation. It was very comforting to see how it's like 5 or 6 people sitting around the table actually have read and researched, and they are prepared to say, what about this? And I view that in this, where this was discussed. And what was really, really reassuring is the detail they put into it, the preparation, and the leadership shown by Dr. Stratus as well as Ms. Pryor. She's still here. Yeah, so it was very comforting to know that much detail and keeping us safe and in compliance with guidelines and requirements. Thank you.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I was going to ask, from actually being on the academic committee and being there, I was going to ask them would they stand up, because I think it's very important to know who put the time and as much time as they put in to doing this.
Please.
and if anything that they would want to say that they would be able to say, because being there and listening to these ladies, it was a very, very tasty situation. I mean, because you're talking about things as thick as these books. One question comes of a lot of information, and they read that much, and I think that to have them here and not to let them speak or to thank them publicly, I think, it would be not befitting of us. So I would definitely like to thank you ladies personally, because sitting there and listening to you and trying to read some of it myself and falling asleep and doing it, it was very tasteful. Thank you. Whatever you have to say, please, if you want.
I just want to say that I'm excited, as the coordinator, I'm excited to get this moving in the right direction and get this covered for our students. This is a super important piece of their learning, and it's very relevant and under the guidelines of being aligned with the standards and the laws. But I'm excited for moving forward. So yes, a lot of work, but worth it.
Thank you.
Ms. Pryor.
I just want to say thank you. It's been kind of a passion of mine for quite some time. I've been an employee since 2017, and this is finally happening, so I'm very grateful for that. The committee, I couldn't ask for better members on the committee. They do the work. And as a teacher, students get health in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade and one time in high school, and unless they go into a health profession, it's the last time they get health education. So we're really educating them, not only for now, but also for their lifetime, and so I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Thank you. And just to tell you, the way you conduct the committee meetings, like you're a professional, you couldn't tell me that you hadn't done that prior to doing it at the committee level of our meetings. You did a wonderful job at doing that. Hats off to you publicly. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman Guy, may I add a commentary as well? Because both our board members who've been there in person have guided the committee so that the committee wasn't making decision for the board. I do want to say thank you to our board members, because your guidance, Mr. Smith and Ms. Gordon, has been grateful at the work of the committee.
This is Ms. Gordon. Can I say something real quick?
Yes, please do, Ms. Gordon.
Okay. This committee they're awesome. And just watching them take this apart and looking at it and putting us back on track, because we were off track. And had it not been for them, we wouldn't be where we are now. So I do publicly acknowledge them and thank them for what they're doing for our students every day, but we're doing this to make sure that we're in compliance. It's just awesome. So Dr. Stratus, again, this is under your leadership as well. And Ms. Pryor and the coordinator, thank you. And thank you very much for coming and doing what you do for our students.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Yep. Ms. Colonel, we have a motion. I move that the Beaufort, excuse me, get my glasses on, get prepared. I move that the Beaufort County School District Board of Education support the recommendation from the Health Advisory Committee, HAC, that the middle and high school textbook hard copy modules and lessons are removed, as the books are not. Yeah, no, I got that, but was I supposed to put this specific, okay, are not aligned to the South Carolina State Legislation, Carolina Code of Laws, Title 59, 32, 10, the 1988 Act Number 437, Section 3, and the 204 Act Number 203, I'm not making this up, I'm just reading I don't know these numbers. Okay, H4624, Section 2, effective May 21st, 2024. The HAC also recognizes that the publishing of the middle school supplement was prior to the 2024 legislative update. As such, these materials are not aligned and should be discarded per the South Carolina State Legislation, Carolina Code of Laws, Title 59, 32, 10, 1988 Act Number 437, Section 3, and the 204th Act Number 203, H.4624, Section 2, effective May 21st, 2024.
Seconded.
Second by Mr. Smith.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? See no hands. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Online.
Aye. Chloe Gordon, aye.
Got it. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for all
Thank
the
you,
hard
board
work.
members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is donations to Shanklin Elementary School from the Friends of Shanklin in the amount of $7,000 for math supplies for early childhood math centers in all pre-K and first grade classrooms.
Thank you, Colonel Guy. I move that the Beaufort County Board of Education accept with gratitude the donation from the Friends of Shanklin in the amount of, I said 7,000, right?
Second.
Second it. Oh.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Online?
C. Gordon, aye.
S. Gordon, aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have nothing on the consent agenda. We have future agenda topics. Mr. Nay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In doing some research about, I was recommended a fine book about coherent governance, and it kind of got me going down a rabbit hole. We review the superintendent and we review our executive secretary, but we don't do an internal review of our own board operations from the board perspective. I would like to add to a future agenda a discussion about how we can review our own internal processes as a board.
Okay. We do have and have used a board self-survey. I think it was before you came on the board, but that's a good topic. That's a good topic. Any other topics? Mr. Smith?
Just to actually, when you do that also, I think that we would, that if we want to continue this governance that we under, there are maybe I'm not a certain amount of districts in the state of South Carolina, but there are only maybe about 3 or 4 actually districts that who go under the governance that we use. So maybe we ought to do a actual study and see if that's something that this new board or this board here may actually want to stick with before we go down that as some people would say could be down that aisle or that rabbit hole. So yeah, put that out there. Thank you.
Ms. Cushenberry, do you have the copies of our topics to be discussed? Can you put that up on the screen? Okay. This is what we have so far, and we're looking at work session for the correlation between two-parent households and student outcomes, and a review technology, Stargate. We don't have that scheduled yet. How much time does that, you think that'll take?
Is Mr. Cho on and here that can speak?
As of right now, with the Stargate program from the federal government, it's only for data centers and major infrastructure. As of right now, there is no plans in place to train the future workforce to initiate that infrastructure. We are waiting for the federal government to build on that plan, and I'm sure in the future they will add the workforce aspect to this program. But as of right now, it's only for infrastructure and data centers on the private side.
Yep, that's fine.
All right. Stipends, we did that. So we take that one off, and dual enrollment is back on.
Just point that out.
Okay, and dual enrollment, how much time, Dr. Rodriguez, do you think it would take to have your staff prepare a topic like that?
I think dual enrollment could be, it could be a board meeting item, but it would have discussion on it. If you would prefer a deeper dive into it, then it would be appropriate for a work session. But if you're asking how much time, we could be ready for a board meeting if that's what you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious how it's grown over the last 5 years, how we're using it now, how the partnerships, so it'd be more data-driven than discussion-driven.
So to me, we could do that in a board meeting, if you're good with that.
We'll look at that. Mr. Smith?
Actually, I was, in terms of stipend, let's put board stipend on there as well. Board member stipends.
Board member
Let's discuss that as well. Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Chloe Gordon.
Yes, Ms. Chloe.
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but when we were speaking, it was mentioned that the topic that I was asking about, with teachers being removed from one school to the other, that might be an AR or OE, but there should be a discussion maybe at a work session. So I would like to propose that we do that at a work session, about how we move teachers.
Okay. Ms. Cushenberry, you got that? Okay, we have that. Hearing nothing further. If we have any announcements? Mr. Smith?
Yes, actually, it is Black History Month. And I'll definitely like to tell people we should, even though it is the shortest month of the year, we should learn our history every day and throughout the year, not just 1 month of the year. So enjoy the Black History Month, but this is Black History Month. Thank you for all who celebrate. Thank you.
I think it's important to mention that we have the African American History Conference that starts on the 13th of this month, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And board members, it costs money, but you have it in your budget. So if you, we really strongly encourage you to go.
It doesn't cost the board members.
Oh, we get it free? All right. Put that in our stipend piece. Okay. All right. Next, second public comments. Do we have just the one? Yep, Mr. Miller. And the topic is banned, various topics.
Is this on? Okay, good. Welcome, new board members. I'd like to just kind of give you a quick review of what I've been doing for the last school year and so far this year. All last school year, I tabulated, and you're going to think I'm a musician. I'm not. I'm a data person. I talk tables and context. But all last year, I presented to the district tables that showed how we compared in band to others in the state. Then starting at the end of the last year, I started bringing this attention to you folks. Two major items I'm concerned or interested in is the turnover in the number of band directors. I have computed and taken note, the median tenure of a band director in this county is 1 year. We presently have 3 vacancies. One of those vacancies was filled the beginning of this semester, and he terminated before the year was over. And so it becomes another vacancy for the second semester. I've recently been made aware that the Hilton Head Middle School band director is retiring. The position was never filled or posted, so I assume some internal candidate is taken over. I do not know that name. It has not appeared on the directory of the school. I'm interested in what goes on there because I'm not, that school is, if you looked at some of these data, needs some help. And so I look forward to knowing more what's going on there. Am I on a timer? I don't see it.
We have 40 seconds.
How many?
38 seconds.
You've heard me. I gave you folks, this past week was a all-county ban. I gave you a list of, is that it?
I used to keep going.
A list of the schools that participated and how many students they had. Again, I'm not making reference to what's good and bad, but it's interesting to note that one school out, the most prolific school out of the both high school and out of the middle schools accounted for 50% or more.
Sir, your time is up, sir.
Sorry about the timer.
And by the way, since I gave you some of this data, I have updated it because there was an error in the program. So I have copies if anybody wants it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sorry to overrun.
Unless there is any objection, we will adjourn by unanimous consent. Thank you and good evening.
Thanks, everybody. Well, I am a ninja. Go for it. Go for it.
Records are meant to be broken.
Absolutely.
Or does it go with? I've already been to one.